What's up, guys? Mike back from Winning Riches with another video. Let me show you how I installed my amp. Alright, so to be completely honest, I already installed the amp. What happened was last weekend I was test fitting the speaker mounts because the speakers that I got, it wasn't going to fit. I'll throw a picture up right here of what I'm talking about. Because the speakers I got were the marine grade speakers, the Kicker 6.5 inch marine grade speakers, and the way they were designed with how the tweeters mounted, that they weren't going to sit flush up against the speaker adapter. So I had to go in and cut out a little square piece for each bracket to fit over it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. Let's go ahead and we'll take off the front fairing. I'll show you how to do that too. So the first thing you gotta do is you have to remove your headlight. Super easy. Let that fall. So this is gonna be mounted in here like this, and it's got the 4 screws in each corner. You just take those screws. Well, first off, you got to pop your trim piece off. It just pops out, real easy. Take out these 4 Allen head bolts, and then lean it forward, and it slides out. And then you got your adapters or your connectors in the back of your headlight. You just pop those out. I just use a small flathead or a regular pick, and they just pop right out and your headlight comes off. I know it's probably going to be kind of hard to see. Can you see that? I don't know. Let's see. Right here. Yeah, right here. So you have these turn signal bolts, or not bolts, turn signal adapters, connectors, adapters. Fuck. These turn signal connectors. There's one right here for the left side and one up here for the right side. Just take your flathead screwdriver again, and then just pop those out. Bam. Those just let those hang there. Now, let's move to the fairing, and I'll show you how to take that off. All right, so I think this is in focus, but if it's not, sorry. You got 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and then your 4th one is behind the speaker grill. Speaker grill, just pop it out real quick. And then you have your 4 screws, one up here behind the speaker grill, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And you just pop those out real quick. And it's going to be the same thing on that side too. So let me take this off, and I'll come back when I go to pop the fairing off. All right, so for the front fairing, how it comes off is you've undone your headlight, you've unplugged your turn signals, you have to undo your turn signals to pop this all the way off. You've undone your 8 bolts, 4 on each side, and you just grab it from the bottom and just pop it out, and it'll slide right out just like that. Don't be scared of it, you're not gonna break it, just pop it out. Okay, so first of all, disclaimer, I'm no professional installer, I'm no professional electrician, I don't do wiring. I just do this because stuff I like to do. I like to figure stuff out and make it work for myself. Now, we'll start from the amp, and then we'll work out to the speakers, and we'll go from there. Now, again, I'm no professional. I do what works for me, and it works, and it sounds really good. So, first of all, I have the audio control ACM 4.300 amp. It's a 4-channel 300 watt amp. Plenty of power. It's small and compact. Here's my hand next to it. It will focus. Yeah, there we go. There's my hand next to it. So my hand covers up the whole thing pretty much. It's small, compact. That's why I wanted it for the bike, something small and compact, so I didn't have to make a whole bunch of mounts and everything for under here. This is just a thin piece of sheet metal that I got from Home Depot that I cut down and bent around the corners. Now I've cut it just to the size of the amp, and I used self-tapping bolts and bolted it in. Well, this one stripped off when me and Craig were putting it back in, but it still holds. It's still sturdy. So I painted it black when I first put it in there. I put it in Scarlet. I did not paint it when I took it out of Scarlet. It was rusted. So I sanded it down a little bit and painted it black and put back in here. So that's my amp, just a really thin piece of sheet metal. And now you're saying, oh, well, that's not strong enough to hold the amp. Well, Scarlet, when I got in that wreck, I got hit from behind. The bike flipped over, and when I went to take the amp out, it was still in place. Now, it is in place with zip ties and a piece of Velcro behind it. Why'd you do that, you ask? Oh, because when I first mounted it, as you can see, there's 2 extra holes here. I think I'll focus. There you go. Yeah, there's 2 extra holes here. The bracket that was on here, I mounted it straight to there, but with the shaking and stuff, it broke the bracket off. So 2 zip ties and 1 piece of Velcro back here to keep it in place. It does give it a little bit of movement, so it's not going to shake anything else loose, shake any wires loose, anything like that. Yeah, like I said before, I'm not a professional. This is just what works for me, and it worked in Scarlet, so it literally got flipped over upside down, and when I took the front fairing off, it was still in place, nothing moved. So it works. Work with what you got. Real simple. Took the wires coming from the factory system, the other speakers, put those into the inlet, and then the kickers 6.5 those go to the outlet. That's just how it works. I adjusted the gain and everything and done it that way. Let me show you the speakers real quick. Here's what I was talking about. I had to cut the spots out for, focus, there we go. I had to cut these spots out for these speakers. If you see in here, there we go. Yeah, these I couldn't, because the tweeter's mounted in the center and the wires ran through the center. Oh, right here, ran through one of these, so it's not actually in contact with the speaker itself. It's raised up off of it, so I couldn't cut these off, so I had to modify the adapter. I got these off eBay. I'll put the link down in the description below for these adapters if you do want to get a set. Now, the way I mount it, okay, first off, we'll address the duct tape. Yes, this is a cheap man soundproofing. Just duct taped over the big holes to help bring some of the sound back out this way. Here's some how I mounted it. The stock bolt holes, I took some what are these 7/16 nuts, I think, or not nuts but bolts. They're not self-tapping, but they worked because they're coarse thread, and they thread into the adapter itself and made their own threads, and it's solid. I test fitted this all prior to putting this in to make sure it would work, and it's all solid. These are connected with the bolts, the stock bolts that came out of the 5¼ inch speakers that were in it. So these they just screwed straight in here and they tap themselves in. So it's all solid, it's all not going anywhere. I've been riding for a week, and that's why I wanted to check it and take this all apart and make sure it was going to work and make sure nothing's came loose or anything, and nothing has. The only thing I am going to change is, I don't know if you can see it, but a little bit of that wire is exposed, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to take this off, cut a little bit of this off and put it back in, so this is more down in here, kind of like this ground wire is. So that's the amp install. That's how I installed it. I'll put links for the speakers. Stop going out of focus. I'll put links for the speakers and the adapters down in the description below if you want to get those, and I'll put a link for the amp if it's something you're interested in getting too. So other than that, it's all just stuff I had laying around the garage, and I made for it. I made it work. I made it work for me. This is what works for me. It was in Scarlet for not these speakers, but it was in Scarlet for almost what, 2 years before I got hit. So, and nothing ever broke. Literally the only thing that ever broke was this little thin aluminum bracket on the amp itself, and that's not really even really a big deal. So fixed it myself. Next thing I'm gonna do, this cheap plastic folder thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut this and mount this something kind of like that. Focus. There we go. I'm gonna cut this off, this black part, and I'll mount it something like this. So if I ever do get caught in rain or anything, and any rain gets down inside here, inside the fairing, it's just gonna run over the amp. It's not gonna run onto the electronics. That's the only thing I'm really gonna change about it. So yeah. I know this video is kind of long, and I apologize for that. I try to make it as short as possible, but I had to get all the information that I could. If there's something I didn't go over that you saw and you want me to explain it more, I'll explain it more, either like in a blowing smoke, or I'll take this apart and do another video over it. So just comment down below if you have any questions or anything. Again, I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. This is just something I like to do, to tinker with things and make it work for me, which is what I did. So again, if you have any questions or how I did it, or I mean, I just explain how I did it, but like if you have any questions, whatever, any of the parts, how I mounted it, or anything you saw you want me to go over more, I either go over like in a blowing smoke, or I'll film a separate episode and I'll do it all over again. So that's gonna be it for today. Go check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. And shirts, this is not merch, but go check our merch out on Teespring. Links for all those down in the description below. This video right here is the most recent video that I put up. This video over here is the one that YouTube's just for you. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and punch me in the face and hit the subscribe button. And remember, always keep the shiny side up.